What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to talk about AMC, GME as well as the broader market, and after that we're going to check the options flow for all three of them. So today AMC was up for 4.02% for the day. It had a high of $15.90. The average volume on AMC is around 44.50 million, but today's volume was around 31.87 million. The volume was slight bit lower than the average volume. Still the stock price goes up. Now this thing comes down to the sentiment towards the market, as well as these low volume kind of a pump that we are experiencing in the market. It doesn't last long, but we have been experiencing an uptrend in the overall broader market. Now when we come over to GameStop, GME was up for 3.52% for the day. It had a high of $97.45. The average volume on GME is around 2.94 million, but today's volume was around 8.91 million. As we already know, GameStop had its earning yesterday, and it was a big miss, and the stock went down quite a bit. It was around $75 in the aftermarket, and today it opened around $79 in the morning. There were a lot of investors buying this stock, and there was a huge volume that came in which increased the stock price, no matter even if there was a miss on the earnings. So that's what indicates that what it really should be like. As we can see over here clearly, the average volume is around 3 million, but today's volume was around almost 9 million. It's more than double the average volume, so it makes a lot of sense in stock price to go up like that. But in majority of the other stocks there is not much volume coming in, but the still stock prices are going up. So that means we might experiencing a downtrend very soon, but when it's gonna happen we never know. Now the main thing comes down to is this, that if you're buying a stock or you're running options, if you're buying stock, you don't have to worry much about it. If it goes down, then you can average down on your stock and you don't have to worry about an expiration on it. But when you are doing options, it could be very risky and very scary in this kind of a scenario. Just a week back we were in an extreme level of downtrend, and we were expecting after the interest rate hike the stock market is going to go down a little bit more further, and every individual investor, especially the retail, they were having a lot of puts on their side. And as we already know, the market maker can actually see what we are doing, and then they start hedging those positions. So that's what happened. A lot of investors were having a put position on the GameStop, AMC, as well as many other stocks. The overall sentiment of the market changed, and everything is going up from here onwards. Now when we come over to the SPY was up for 1.10% for the day. It's been the fourth day in a row. It's been going up almost over 1% almost every day. This is a major index which doesn't move like the way it's moving right now. It had a high of $445.24. So there is a almost aggressive revenge rally that's coming into the SPY, as well as the many other stock in the stock market. And how long this is going to last, we don't know. A lot of people are scared to hold anything over the weekend because any news can come out of Russia which can create some sort of a downtrend. But if there is no news coming out of Russia, then very clearly we're going to experience a lot of uptrend. Now let's come over to the options flow for AMC. By looking at the options flow and especially increasing the premium to max and seeing what exactly the retail is doing, we can see the retail is still onto the downside. They are buying puts, and when I bring down the premium a little bit and see what are the basic retail investors are doing, some of them are onto the call side today. A lot of individuals were buying call option, but majority of them are still onto the downside for the stock. There was nothing majorly suspicious coming out of the options flow for AMC, but I can definitely tell you there is a lot of upward momentum bets were coming into the stock today, and a lot of individuals have started buying call options into AMC. Now let's come over to the options flow for GME. Now when I increase the premium to max, I can see the whales are basically onto the downside. Therefore, this one bet that came in for $165 put option that's going to expire in another 6 days, and this individual is betting that the GME is going to go down from here onwards. Now GME and AMC both are extremely volatile stock. You have to be very careful when you are shorting this stock or you're buying a long position on it, because there is no control over it. As we saw yesterday what happened after there was a miss in the earnings of GME, the stock went down, but this morning when we woke up we saw the stock has gone up quite a bit. Now when I bring down the premium and see what the regular retail investors are doing, I can see majority of them are onto the downside, but there were a lot of call option buying that was happening into the stock. As we can see very clearly in the options flow, there were a lot of individuals buying put options, but there are still some call options, but definitely the put ratio is way too much higher than the call. Now let's come over to the options flow for the SPY. Now by looking at the options flow for the SPY, I can tell you very clearly the whales are still onto the downside. Every day a bet comes in. Now today this bet came in for $470 put option that's going to expire in another 90 days, and this individual is paying 17.7 million and he's buying 5,000 contract and he's betting that the SPY is going to go down. Now I'm going to bring down the premium and see what are these smaller whales are doing, and I can tell you very clearly still there are a lot of the whales are onto the downside. They are not expecting this upward momentum that we are experiencing in the SPY is sustainable. There was this bet came in for 8,000 contracts and $1.5 million he's paying for it, and he's buying a $427 put option which is going to expire in 6 days. That's a pretty extreme bet that this individual is making, and this is going to expire at the end of the next week. There were these two as well for 4,000 contracts, this one 5,000 contracts. As we can see very clearly, the majority of the heavy contracts are onto the downside. This one was 9,767 contract, and that's going to again expire in 6 days, and this individual is paying $2 million and he's buying a $427 put option. Now the amount of money they are investing, they are almost gambling their money, but they are betting that these SPY is going to go down from here onwards. I can see there were more bullish momentum coming into the stock as compared to the downside, but we never know what's going to happen over the weekend. Some scary news can come out of nowhere and the entire market can start going back down. But as we know, market maker has a pretty good control over it. They run the market according the way they want. Now, as we know already, there were a lot of negative news coming in just before the Fed meeting when the entire market was going down and everybody was buying the puts. Now, suddenly there is a change of sentiment. There is a quiet over the media. There is no news coming out of any big media outlet in any negative big sentiment coming towards the stock market. We just have to wait and see how this is going to play out. Hope so you like my video. Please like and subscribe my channel, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers.